Hey, it's Ashley from Yoga for That. It's been a hot minute since I've done a teacher training video. I've just been working on some other projects, but honestly, my passion is still really to help new yoga teachers find their way in the yoga world as yoga teachers. So, one of the biggest questions I get asked from brand new yoga teachers is, how the heck do I find a job? And it can seem like everybody and their uncle is a yoga teacher once you've finished your teacher training, just because you've been immersed into a group of like-minded people who are all on the same journey as you. But if you take yourself into a pool of people, honestly, you're not going to meet that many yoga teachers unless you only really kind of hang out with that group of people. It might seem like it's going to be really hard to find a job, but really, with a little bit of work and knowing what you're doing, you'll find one pretty quickly. So we're going to get deep and dive into how to find a job as a yoga teacher. I did my training, oh my gosh, so long ago now. 2013, I finished my 200-hour program, and in 2018, I finished my 500-hour teacher training, and now I am an experienced, registered 500-hour registered yoga teacher. It's such a mouthful. And so I'm actually looking to do some different trainings now, but and actually leading my own YTT in the future. So a lot of what I've learned from helping out with YTTs and working with new teachers and things I've learned along the way will be immersed into the trainings that I put together. To get going on how to find a job as a yoga teacher, think about where you did your training. So I did my training, my 200 hours with Y Yoga. And so to teach with them, you actually need quite a bit of experience under your belt to be able to teach or sub with them. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a job with them right when I finished my teacher training, but I found a company online and I auditioned with them within months of doing my teacher training, and then I was teaching with them for quite a few years actually. And so honestly, trying to get in with the places that you are already kind of in. So whether you did your teacher training with a specific studio, maybe you can volunteer at that studio, maybe you can sub at that studio, maybe you work the front desk at that studio, and then if a teacher doesn't show up, you can teach and then kind of get your foot in the door that way for sure. Step number one is to think of all the people that you already know. So one might be the studio that you did your training with. That would be kind of your first and foremost place to ask around if they're hiring, because now you know the person that works the front desk. You might know some of the key players of the studio, the owners, the managers, hiring managers, such like that. So that's a really good place to start. If you did your training, maybe you did it in another country or kind of a special space that you did your training with, not at a studio, think about the people that you know in your life. So maybe the place you're already working, maybe you can do like a free class at lunchtime just to get some feedback and really start getting on your teaching mat. You might ask your friends who work in offices. You might ask your spouse, your partner, anything like that, where you might just be able to get your foot in the door. I've gotten quite a few classes actually from my husband recommending me and just keeping his ear out for the fact that those places were looking for yoga teachers. So honestly, just make sure people know that you're looking. They won't know to help you unless you ask for help. So make sure that they know that you're looking for that work. So to recap, step number one, start with the studio that you did your training at. Maybe ask at your work if you can lead a class, and then check in with your friends and family if they know of anyone who's hiring, or maybe you can teach a class at their work for free to start even, and just see how it goes, and maybe they can give you paid work, or maybe they recommend you to someone else in their building or someone else that they know. Step number two is networking, and so especially in Vancouver, it's kind of a catch-22 because it's easy to find work once you have experience, but it's hard to get experience without work, and you need experience to get work. So it's a little frustrating sometimes. But honestly, if you're looking to get in at a specific studio, a lot of us are drawn to a specific style of yoga or specific group or specific studio. So if that's the case, volunteer with them, connect with the key teachers and key players at those studios. So make sure that my laptop is just sliding all over the place. There we go. Make sure that you're connecting with people that might be able to give you recommendations in the future. So especially making friends with the front desk staff, making friends with the teachers that you really enjoy their classes, connect and so they know you by name. And so that's really helpful if maybe that you could just say, hey, look, like I really would love to teach here. Let them know that you want to teach there. Ask them if any opportunities come up. Maybe you could do a karma class, so a free class. Maybe you could run a workshop, whatever it is, just to kind of get your foot in the door if that's a space you really want to be working at. With Y Yoga, I actually volunteered for a while. And I don't even know how I ended up getting audition because I had been applying a lot, and then I was actually really, really busy with teaching, and I got an email asking me to come in for an audition. So I don't know if one of the teachers recommended me or what happened, but now I teach there too. I just sub, but so you never know when someone might recommend you. So make sure you're making friends in the industry. Make sure that you're going to classes, trying out workshops, and I'm one of those people, I'm very introverted, so the way that I show up in the world might be different than you do. So my way of showing up is going to a class, connecting with the teachers I really enjoy, connecting with them on social media. That's the way I connect with people, but you might attend lots of workshops, you might volunteer a lot more, be more just open in that way. So make sure that you're being authentic to the person you are. Don't feel that you have to kind of step too much out of your comfort zone or bubble to make those connections, because you don't want to get yourself in a position where you're maybe running a workshop that you're not comfortable working just because you want the opportunity. So there's this fine line of our comfort zone, and I'm a very big believer in stepping a little bit out of it, but at the same time, you don't want to be because teaching is brand new and it's already out of your comfort zone. So you don't want to be so far out of your comfort zone that you get anxiety or it becomes not fun anymore. Teaching should be an enjoyable part of your career or your career itself. So make sure that you're just being really, really authentic to who you are and how you show up in the world. Step number 3 is collaborating. So this might be working with a teacher who's already very established in the yoga world. So whether you help them with a workshop, maybe you come in and do a special class where you're doing hands-on assist, or they teach half the class, you teach half the class. Just think of ways that you can get your foot on your teaching mat. So volunteering, collaborating, networking, running workshops. Maybe you do a special class where you're raising money for a cause or a fund that you believe in quite a bit. Anything like that, just to get yourself on your mat as a teacher will be really, really, really helpful to your career as a yoga teacher. Step number 4, and this is optional because it will probably cost you some more money, is a mentorship. And this is something that I didn't do, but I actually do it myself. So working with someone, and it doesn't have to be specifically, you don't have to like Google yoga teacher memberships, or mentorships. It doesn't have to be through a specific studio unless you just really want in with that studio, and so you think that might be your best bet into getting into that studio. But talk to teachers that you admire, that you really like working with, you like their style or how they show up in the world, people you connect with, and ask them if they'd be willing to do a mentorship. And a mentorship is just, they might come to your class, give you some feedback, they might meet with you once or twice a month to kind of sit down and chat, see how things are going. So this might be an option if you're struggling with either finding a job or struggling with some aspect of teaching, whether it's coming up with themes or sequences or whatever it might be. So again, you might do maybe a one-on-one mentorship. Maybe you get together with a group of your friends from your teacher training and do like a group mentorship. Just think of ways that you can continue learning. You might take some more training because that'll get you involved with other teachers that are on various levels. So the thing is with doing your 200 is everyone's really kind of coming in with the same baseline. So whether they have more experience with yoga doesn't really matter. They're all learning the same amount that you kind of starting at the same level. So you haven't really had that opportunity to be immersed with actual yoga teachers other than the teacher trainer. So if you do other trainings, maybe just do like a short little workshop or a little 50-hour weekend series of something you're interested in, mantras, anything like that that's just a little bit would amp up your training a little bit, but now you're being immersed with other teachers that have more experience teaching, so you can kind of connect with them, maybe connect with them on social media, go have a coffee with them, whatever it is. So really trying to find your tribe of people that will help you on your journey of being a yoga teacher. So that's it for this video. It's very short and sweet. To recap, step number 1 is to start with what you know. So that's with the studio you're training with, or a studio that you're a really prominent member of, your friends, your family, your own workplace. Step number 2 is networking. Step number 3 is collaborating. And step number 4 is participating in a mentorship of some kind. If you're interested in finding out more about anything like this, please feel free to connect with me on social. I'm at Yoga for That pretty much everywhere on social. You can find me on my website at yogaforthat.com. I also do offer mentorships, so if that's something you're interested in just knowing more about, please feel free to connect with me and I'd be happy to answer your questions. If you want more videos like this, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I do have other content that comes up, so just be mindful of that. But I will link below to some other videos that might be relevant. So one is auditioning and the other is how to get more work as a yoga teacher. So if you're already working, or it might be some ideas that you might get if you're still trying to build your clientele. It was great to have you here and I can't wait to grow with you. Bye.